NeonicVoid Productions presents.
Hi, welcome back to Book Watchers. I don't know how much of that opening I'm gonna have in here, but there'll be something there.
Keep it like keep it part where the our Welsh listeners
Oh my god.
hear that. Oh,
This
this episode's for you guys.
ladies, gentlemen, others, he wants a British or a Welshman. He wants a man from an island off the coast of Europe, over the
No, see
pond.
what I want is a man that's not a gutter goblin from San Antonio, because most of the men here are just trash. And if you're listening in from San Antonio, I stand by my words.
That's spoken by a gutter goblin himself.
Get out of here. you know me. You know I'm a treasure.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe a cursed treasure, but treasure nonetheless.
I mean, no, I'm a treasure. You're a curse. I'm a treasure.
In what world are you a treasure? You can't be a catch and a treasure.
I'm both, babe. I'm a catch and a treasure.
Okay.
I'm an amazing person that when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, I am so glad I know this person.
So anyway, welcome back to Book Watchers. If you tuned in last week for last week's recording, we told y'all that we now got a sponsorship for Audible. Yay!
I knew it.
And though we say last week, we literally just finished recording that episode like 20 minutes ago, and now we're starting on the next episode. So last week for y'all, it's the same day for us. Like, look, we're still wearing the same shit.
Because I don't wear this shirt as my bum around shirt. Yes, I do. I wear this as my bum around shirt a lot. I do. Because it's big and it's comfy.
That's what I wear this shirt for.
Ugh.
This one's old. I've had this one since high school.
This shirt's too damn big. Because I can't wear it outside. It's too big. But I'm like, it's comfy. So here we are again. Sponsored by Audible.
Click on that link down below, guys. Support us. We would rather be doing this full time than working in customer service like I do.
God, I'm not. Oh, please help us, please.
No, but for real, please. Okay, please. Now begging aside, for real, guys, please, please support us.
Yes,
we love doing this. We're on I'm on 2 podcasts under NeonicVoid, and Devin is on all of them because this is his child.
My baby.
NeonicVoid Productions is his baby. Okay, though he has many co-hosts. You could definitely say Devin gets around. Anyway, but the Book Watchers is our baby.
Yes.
I was the one who suggested this podcast.
He was.
I've always thought, like, when he started telling me that, yeah, he's doing more podcasts with other people, like Tea of the Gods was one of the first, and he was looking to do a couple more at the time, and I thought, like, oh, hey, I got an idea. Books. Like, I love reading books. I read them almost religiously.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's talk about them. But I wanted to come up with a more specific theme for a book podcast. So I thought, why not books that have been adapted into movies?
Yeah.
And since then, we've discussed like about a dozen movies that have been books that have been adapted into movies: Lord of the Rings, Dune,
Harry Potter,
Aragon. We did Percy Jackson. Did we do Percy Jackson and Olympians? We did. Oh, we breezed through that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we breezed through that, and like, I'm not gonna lie, I barely remember doing it because at that time it was a really stressful time for me when we did it. So like, I was just kind of like on autopilot when we were doing it. But they were all great stories. We have others that we're gonna be doing. I mean, right now we're doing the Wheel of Time, and then while I finish up those stories, Devin has a few books that he wants to review, and for the first 2 years that we've been doing Book Watchers, it was mainly me talking about the books. But now, like, I'm trying to push for Devin to do more because I can't
Yeah,
be the only one that you guys listen ramble on about books, movies, and
exactly.
comics and graphic novels.
Yeah.
We've already done 30 Days of Night too.
Yeah.
So we're not just doing books now. We're doing graphic novels.
Yep.
We're doing comics.
Yep.
And I'm hoping to expand to other books too. I'm just trying to come up with more ideas because I'm not gonna lie, I'm starting to run out of ideas of what books to read and talk about. Mainly because like a lot of the books that we've talked about have been books that I've read in the past, that I've already read in the past, which was a pretty long. As if you kept up with us this entire time,
A long list.
it's a decent list. It's a long list. All right, so we'd love to keep doing this, and maybe in the future, if we're able to completely like get more sponsorship and just completely do this full time. Like I've been thinking, where if we're gonna make this into a full like YouTube, or like a hybrid YouTube podcast, Spotify podcast, or like what are the other platforms that we post this on? Like it's Spotify, YouTube.
Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, I think. Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. There's a list.
iHeartRadio. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Breaker.
Yeah, so we got a good list. We got a good list going on, and I want to be able to set up in a decent, like a good studio space, so we can look more legit. Honestly, like that futon behind Devin is where I'm pushing for us to start recording.
You can. Yeah.
We just need to get
Cat.
we want to be able to. The thing is though, is that like we both got lives, and unfortunately, we can't commit as much time to this podcast as we'd like.
Yeah.
And well, I can't. Right as of right now, I can't. But we would love to be able to do this full time for you guys. Put out more content,
Yes.
and this even comes down to the other D&D the other podcasts, the D&D podcast, Spookocalypse. Devin wants to get Tea of the Gods back up and running again.
Yeah.
And if y'all support us, if you can support us, this is the starting point. This is literally the first podcast we got a sponsorship on, right?
Yeah. This is I mean, the other shows have also the sponsors going on all the other shows as well. So, but yeah, no, this is the first one that we've gotten since we started with Audible.
Yeah,
which
and
I'm like,
hopefully, if Audible likes us, if you guys keep clicking that link, it's a 14-day trial plus you get a free book.
It's a 30-day trial.
So 30-day. I'm sorry. You cut that part out. It's a 30-day trial.
And you get a free book. Yeah.
So if you love reading as much as we do, if you love Audible, take advantage. All right. Take advantage of us. Oh my god. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god. But before we get into today's episode, if you look in the link description below the Audible link you see there, you'll see the link tree link to all the other podcasts of NeonicVoid Productions and the YouTube channel. If you want to go listen to some D&D, some Tea of the Gods, some House of Ideas for more centered around superhero comics, or if you want to go listen to past episodes of the Book Watchers, see what Jacob all talked about and what I've talked about so far. All that will be in the description below, as well as the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Because we've been getting a lot of listens on YouTube as of late, like the view count on YouTube has been pretty decent. So, I mean, they're small, like 20 or 30 certain episodes, but like, hey, it's a start. It's going somewhere. So, yes, help us out. Subscribe. Listen to the episodes.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Tell your grandma.
Tell your dad.
Ew. Yeah, tell your dad. Tell your dad. Tell your brother. Tell your boyfriend. Tell your girlfriend. Tell the hobo down the street.
All are welcome here.
Yeah, exactly.
The merrier.
Exactly. Hell yeah. So
The more the merrier. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and listen to a couple of autistic energy rambling.
uh,
Oh, I don't know. I
wow.
said that wrong. Cut that part out. Just sit back, relax, listen
Uh-huh.
to a couple of eggheads ramble on about books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think better.
so
I
today
think better.
I believe in you. So today I am going to talk about another book. This is a book. Well, how do I put it? This is the first book of a little series that has 2 books in it currently. Next week, I'm going to talk about the sequel to this, but I'm talking about What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. T. Kingfisher is a pen name for the author Ursula Vernon. Vernon? If I remember pronouncing your name, I am so sorry. Again, I'm dyslexic. But it's a pen name for T. Kingfisher. She has a few different, I think she has a few different pen names, but she writes a lot of fantasy series. Of course, this series, which is more horror centric and mostly fantasy books, it looks like, and then some web comics. But pretty much, it's like this is her horror series that she writes as T.J. Fisher, or not T.J. Fisher, T. Kingfisher. So, What Moves the Dead is a short story that is based on the story of The Fall of the House of Usher from Edgar Allan Poe. This is a retelling of that story in a very weird roundabout way. If you, and this is going to be a trigger warning, if you find fungus creepy or terrifying in any way, this book might not be for you, babe. Let me
If you can't
tell
stomach The
you.
Last of Us,
Yeah.
yeah, if you can't stomach The Last of Us TV show on
Yeah.
HBO Max,
Uh-huh.
or I'm sorry, Max.
Max, yeah.
Or if you can't stomach those games, this is
Yeah.
not the book for you.
No, it's most certainly not, because the body horror is dealing with fungus and it's kind of gross. So the first book of a series known as God, what does she call this series? The Sworn Soldiers, the Sworn Soldier books, because it follows a character at through both these books. What Moves the Dead and What Feasts at Night. It's all about the same character. His name, or their name is Alex Easton. And he is, or sorry, they are formerly part of the oh god, how do they pronounce the country? Galatian. I think this country is a made up Eastern European country. But this person Alex was a soldier in the Galatian army. And they received word that their childhood friend, Madeline Usher, is currently dying. It's on her deathbed. So they travel to the Usher's house and they find that the place is in disrepair, surrounded by this darkness, fungus, something evil, unsettling. It's very unsettling when it peers up. Yeah, like you see signs of these weird fungus-looking things running about, and they see like, oh god, they see animals that have like fungus growing up. Like there's one. The cover of the book is a rabbit that has this fungus growing out of it, and you actually see that in the book where they see fungus growing out of a rabbit, and they're not. And the rabbit's acting very sporadically. So throughout this whole book, kind of gives you a hint of like, something's wrong with this fungus. That doesn't seem right. Like the rabbits in particular, it's like something's wrong with the rabbits. They run around very frantically, almost like a chicken with its head cut off. And you're just like, side eye. Should we be concerned? Because obviously in real world, fungi doesn't take over brains of creatures outside of like bugs, because you do have fungi that take over ants' brain of an ant to spread its spores to other ants to continue spreading. So this is kind
It's
of
because
the
and
heat.
there's a reason for that too, because it's the heat,
Yeah.
cordyceps, and there's a couple other mycelium species that uh, that also infect the bodies of insects and cause them to exhibit like zombie-like tendencies.
Yeah.
But these fungus, they need a specific they can only cultivate in specific
Temperatures.
climates,
Yeah.
and the thing about human like mammals or like warm-blooded animals is that our body heat is too hostile for them, so they can't properly grow. So the thing is though, like that's the trend though, is like people are afraid that these fungus will mutate to survive in higher temperatures and allow them to like infect human hosts.
I
I mean, there are
mean,
fungus that can survive in
yeah,
humans, but they're
they're
for
not
now, thank
they're not
God,
like that.
they're
Yeah.
not cordyceps or other.
I mean, if zombies are going to happen, it's not going to be the normal zombies. It's going to be the fungi, the cordyceps. They're going to do it. If
If it's
anything,
gonna be, if we're talking like The Walking Dead, then definitely. But if we're talking like infected people losing their minds and attacking other
yeah,
people, I'm 28 days, 28 weeks later,
but it'd be
where
like
it's
a
just like
fungi instead of a rabies, a rage virus, or whatever.
well, no, I'm talking about like because those weren't zombies; those were like infected
Yeah,
people.
with
That's what they were.
they were infected with like a rage
But they
virus.
and it would and it yeah, and that's actually more plausible
That's
because
fair.
like rabies does cause
Yeah,
animals to act very aggressively, and when they bite you, you get infected. But the thing about rabies, thank God, is that it's curable. It's
to catch
treatable.
it in time. Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's why if you get bit by an
like
animal, ladies and gents, please get yourself checked out ASAP.
get that rabies virus.
Mm-hmm.
Get that rabies shot.
Yep. But yeah, so something's wrong with the life here, plant life, fungi. It just the property looks very unkept and very just like, ew, this is weird. This is creepy. And Roderick Usher, which is Madeline's twin brother, oh god, I lost my train of thought. Robert Roderick. Okay, so they're well. Got my train of thought back. I was like, what? My brain. So Madeline's twin brother Roderick has been very fearful that, of course, his sister's been very frail these last couple of years in the book, and that she is terminally ill, suffering from collapsia. Collapsia. It's a muscle. Oh, I think this is a when you're what? How loss of muscle control. Oh, this is I think catalepsy, which is basically a neurological condition where your muscles um flail about on their own, or they get stuck in the same position. Basically, her body kind of
Okay.
just like freezes up, or she doesn't have control of her limbs and stuff, and eventually that will kill you. So she has that, and she appears basically like skin and bones. She's on her last legs, basically. She's on the death's doorstep. And Alex is disturbed by the appearance of Madeline, who's like thin, wispy like white hair coming from her hair on her arms. Keep note of that. Wispy white hair on her arms. Also present is a Miss Potter, who's a microologist, She loves fungi. And then, of course, there's an American doctor named James Denton and Agnes. A person named Agnes. Which is another soldier that came with Alex. It's quote unquote his Batman, quote unquote. So it's a fellow soldier of his that came with him, or theirs that came with them. They tried to convince Madeline to leave the mansion that is falling apart and decaying, it seems, at the seams for her own health, but she refuses to leave. So they're like, "Girl, you need to leave. You need to be in a better situation than this." She's like, "I refuse. I don't want to leave. I don't wanna." So she doesn't. Alex, of course, then starts noticing the hares, the rabbits, hare, rabbit, whatever term you go by. They're behaving oddly, of course, with the fungi and stuff. And they are infected with an unknown disease. And then they also start seeing strange lights moving in the tarn, which a tarn is a mountain lake, a pond, a pool of water. So in this tarn, you start seeing these weird hares behaving weirdly near it and lights moving around in the tarn in this little body of pool of water. So basically everything's pointing to that little pool of water. Something's off with that. Something's not right about that water there. Madeline then begins to start sleepwalking in the middle of the night. And she keeps talking about and reminding Alex of the hares. That something's wrong with the hares over and over again. Alex then tells Madeline that the hares have the same illness as well. She mentions and that the hares, the rabbits, still have the same illness as she does. And of course, he's just like, Alex is like, "What the fuck? What's going on here?" So he's still trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with her. Then they decide to go out there and shoot a hare, and they attempt to dissect it. When they dissect the dead hare, it begins to crawl away. His dead carcass. And terrified, he flees back to the mansion from the dead carcass of the hare that he left that's still crawling away. You're like, what? From there, along this creepy stuff of Madeline just sleepwalking, talking in her sleep. She talks to something that's not there. That's another thing that she's been doing. She's been talking to herself like she's having a conversation with something or somebody that isn't there. And when he gets back from when they were trying to cut open the rabbit and see what the hell's going on, Madeline dies. And they moved her body to the crypt in the mansion, in this old mansion. And her brother claims to hear her knocking on the doors of the crypt. Like she's still alive. Trying to get out. So Alex visits Madeline's grave and finds that her neck is broken. Miss Potter induces that the chances of Madeline's hair, the traces of Madeline's hair. So throughout the place, you've been seeing this white hair everywhere. And Miss Potter, who loves fungus, was looking at this hair and like, this is fungus. They're like, "What do you mean? This is hair. This is from Madeline. Like, no, this is fungus." So they're like, what? They're like, they come to the realization that this is fungus. This white hair is fungus. So Alex brings her to examine the body of his dead friend. Or their dead friend. But then it vanishes when they get there. It's gone. The body's gone. Madeline's twin brother, Roderick, is sleeping. And then the others of course, they continue to dissect a hair. The hair that they killed when they were crawling away. I think Agnes took the body of the hair and brought it to Miss Potter. Miss Potter cuts open the hair. The hair is full of fungus. All his organs, all his innards is all fungus. And I'm just like, ew. So the fungus is spread throughout the body of this hair and basically kind of moving it like a puppet. So again, if you hate fungus, you're gonna hate this part. So
damn shame.
The carcass continues to move on its own, they assume to be controlled by the fungus, which, if I remember correctly, she describes them. There's like, this type of cordyceps, because of course it is. But they're in Europe, in Eastern Europe, no less. So this fungus that is here is quite weird. Apparently, it turns out Roderick killed Madeline, his twin sister, believing her to be possessed. So he killed her. He snapped her neck. They enter Roderick's bedroom to try to confront him about it, and they find Madeline sitting on his bed. Her neck is hanging in a very shocking angle. Like, it's like, obviously it's broken, so her neck is like, as she's just sitting on the edge of the bed. And Madeline tells them that she has been dead for at least a month. And the fungus from the body of water has reanimated her body. And she tells Alex that the Tarn is conscious and sentient. So she's been communicating with the fungus in her body. So that's who she's been talking to throughout the whole book, is when she's talking to herself. She's talking to the fungus that's inside of her body. It's in her head. And the fungus is learning how to communicate with them. So she's teaching the fungus how to communicate. From there, she asks Alex to let it infect them, giving them a home after her corpse breaks down. Because obviously, eventually, her corpse is going to rot. And the cordyceps, the fungus, needs a new home. So she's like, hey, can you take the fungus from my body when I wither away? And he's like, I don't think so. So Alex,
I think the fuck not.
I don't fucking think so. So her brother and so Alex gets her twin brother, and they leave the fucking house. Well, actually, they try to leave the house, but her twin brother refuses to leave, and he sets the place on fire as he stays back in the house. So with him and Madeline's corpses still inside, or him and Madeline still inside, Alex, Agnes, and Miss Potter are survivors, and they decide to kill the remaining fungus and basically kind of just kill off the whole body of water, set it on fire, poison it. They put like poison that will kill fungus, and they kind of just scorch the area of this fungus, of this white fungus. Because all the hairs that were on her body, arm, coming out of her head, were all this fungus burrowing from her skin. And her body was nothing but pure fungus at that point. So the fungus was keeping her alive while she was trying to teach it how to communicate. But instead of doing that, they just set the place on fire and killed off the fungus. Which, I mean, good choice. A good fucking choice, because ew.
Yeah.
Ew. That's a no bueno.
Like, honey, no.
Honey, no.
I'm not going to let that.
No. And that's where the book ends. On what moves the dead is the fact that they poison the land to get rid of all the rest of the fungus on the property before they leave. As they watch the house burn, the mansion burn to the ground, with Madeline and her twin brother in it. And of course, Alex is kind of fucked because this is their childhood friend that they just saw die, or admit that they've been dead and taken over by some fungus. Fungus among us.
You gotta do what you got. Honestly, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the end of the book. I loved this book. Oh, I was on a journey. Those are some of the best 4 hours that I've listened to a book. Like, no joke. This is my top 5 favorite books I've read so far. Like, this book is fucking good.
It sounded really good.
Again, I gave the dumbed down version, but the details of that the author writes about the fungus and how describing that the body's innards of the hair or something about fungus is gross. But I'm like, oh, I want to listen to more. So if you want to read a short book, please. What Moves the Dead is it's a good short horror novella. Especially if you like the Fall of the House of Usher, because this is a retelling of that, it's great. 10 out of 10. Spot on. I would love to see a movie out of this or a series out of this. Something television wise out of this or a film. Because you could easily. It'd be so good. Ugh. But yes, that is What Moves the Dead. Next week, I'm going to be talking about its sequel, What Feasts at Night. So until then, peace out. You going to say bye?
Bye.